The Feds, oh, they got the green light for crypto and the stock market. So let's look at this right away. So, as of right now, this trade is up $2,700. I have a target of 29 for Ethereum, and I'll talk a little bit about this trade first off and why I got into it. Truthfully, I would love to have the price target be 3,100, but realistically, it's probably going to be that 2,850 to 2,950 is probably all I'm going to be able to squeeze out of this sucker. But as of right now, it is a good trade. And then on the $100 to $10,000 challenge, I am down about $300 for the day because I ended up trying to short right at 2,700 because we have been shorting at 2,700. Like literally, this was a bad trading mistake that I made in this account where I got in right at 2,700 or so, and the sucker just went all the way down. And I've been playing this deal for, gosh, the better part of a week and a half of having this be down. And so right now, almost back to break even because I ended up then closing out of the trade because I was risking the entire account. I was risking 3,000 and I needed to cut the losses. But then we got Powell's speech here, which basically we all knew what he was going to say. And he said that they're going to have 4 rate cuts before the end of the year, which is mind blowing. So it's probably just going to be a 0.25% every time. So it'll be a full percentage point. And I know all of my trading buddies and everyone historically cutting rates have been a negative impact on the stock market. However, we just had the Bitcoin halving, and then we also have just been going out of a recession, right? The definition of recession is 2 declining quarters of GDP, which we've had over 4. And this has been basically since Biden has been in office. And so they changed the definition to make it seem like he's not doing as bad of a job as he's been doing. But truthfully, we know what kind of a shitty job he's been doing. He's been doing an awful job. So I'm voting for Trump because he's all for crypto and he's all for business and banks because of the whole over carry trade with the yen, where they were basically able to borrow money for free because they had negative interest rates over there in Japan. With them raising rates, it makes sense for us to cut rates because banks are now in a position where they need to refinance their debt. Plain and simple, they need to refinance their debt. And when I ask around, credit card debt is at an all-time high. It's over, God, I think it was $13 trillion or something the last time I checked, which is gnarly. And so how do you get people to get rid of their credit card debt? Well, they refinance their house. They refinance their vehicles. They borrow money against their house, against their vehicles. They consolidate. That's what banks do, is they consolidate. So this was very bullish for Bitcoin and crypto. And I don't know why, truthfully, this morning I had this account up to 16,000, but then I also tried to short as well. Made a mistake. That's what you do. You make some mistakes, but right now we're at a positive 3,000. And here, I'll just show you on Ethereum here. This is on the 4-hour, but if I zoom out on the daily, we've got somewhat of a just symmetrical triangle here that has been broken out. And I could honestly change this to where we can see it a little bit better as a ascending triangle that just broke out. And what happens when an ascending triangle breaks out? Well, it's very bullish. And when those suckers break out, sometimes there's a pullback. But truthfully, here, let me zoom in. I believe I hit control. Dun, dun, dun. I hope it's going to let me. When they break out, we usually get a big pump, and that pump is right around that $2,900 range. And that's where I've got this sucker set. So if we look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is the same thing. We've got an ascending triangle and we just have a breakout. This right here is a major buy signal, but there could be a pullback down to that 62. I just ran 8 miles, so that's why I'm all hot and flustered. But wanted to show you guys here. So boom. And this guy, when it breaks out, got a price target of about 70,000 where that resistance is going to be. So if we look at where the fair value is as far as where the volume is, where people are putting their stops and resistance, it's right at that $2,600 range. So I don't suspect that we're going to go below 2,600 again. We're finally breaking up, and now zooming out just a bit, we can see here. Let me get rid of that stuff. You guys know me. I don't really like having a whole lot on the charts, because it's just convoluted. And Crypto Face, he just hooked me up with some market ciphers. So I'm going to look at that. I ended up beating him at the trading challenge yesterday, which was pretty cool. When you beat one of your heroes, that's always nice to see. But truthfully, there's the target. And if I look at Bitcoin, same thing, 70,000. Okay. But what's interesting is on Bitcoin, we have a major cup and handle forming. Everyone has kind of given me a hard time for these cup and handles. Okay. So boom, there's the cup, right? This is inside the cup. Boom. And usually when these guys break out, they break out the depth of it. And this is over the time frame of, what is that? 100. It's over 1,000 in it's 3 years. It's 3 years of this cup and handle forming, right? So for this guy to break out there and above, what is that going to give us? $130,000 for Bitcoin, which is insane. I know it's absolutely effing insane, but that's over 3 years of formation. So we're looking at the next 3 years of the formation as well. So there's that breakout that is on the weekly. If I'm looking at here, let me get rid of the drawings so we can see here. If I'm looking at the daily and where that price target is, it's right here turning the 63,000 into support. The next level is probably going to be that 65 to 66 because it's just a psychological level, right? We'll see if I get back to break even for this. I'll be happy. I'll be happy if that gets back to break even on this trade. But personally, that trade is right around on the same one because I'm trading ETH. So this should potentially double that account, which is crazy for the $100 to $10,000 challenge. For the other account, if I just show you where those targets are, that is going to make $13,000, which that would double this account as well. So that's being incredibly risky because we're already up 30% in the account, which is pretty darn cool. Like that's rent for most people. $3,000 for just a day. That's pretty good. But you guys know where my targets are. And because of this speech, we've got the green light that is lit for the stock market. Oh, speaking of the stock market, okay, NASDAQ and the S&P 500 are both up. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know why I have ape on here. I never trade ape. Go, go, go. Look at this sucker. Look at that trend line that I drew here. And then as far as the EMAs, where did we get that cross on the EMA? Oh, this is on the weekly. So things have been going good for the weekly. But bam, we have made up all of the all of the losses from what happened with that yen trade. And now we are hitting close to the all-time highs yet again, which is great. But for crypto, man, it is not looking the same here. Okay, so here, let me zoom out a bit. Right, we had that double top and we got stuck relatively right at the neckline. Okay, we did break through the neckline, but that was just a pin bar candle. You guys know me. I'll teach you guys how to trade more candlesticks because I love candlesticks here. But we have not breaking all-time highs or gotten back to recovering. That's the 3,500. I would love to hold on to this guy for 3,500, but that's not how trading works. It goes up and down, up and down, up and down. I am just waiting to see if this, in fact, is a valid breakout of this range, because we've been in this range for freaking 2 weeks here, right? And I locked myself up in this account because I was thinking we were going to break out. So I ended up getting the entire account at 10x, thinking we were going to get to this 28, right? But I had to watch this sucker go down. And finally, when I got fairly close to breaking even, I took a small loss, right? And that was on me. But if we break out, truthfully, getting back to that 3,100 should not be a problem. And the other one is doing fairly well too, right? I will probably start taking profits if we start getting close to 2,800, especially if we can break over the previous high of the 2,780 range. That would, I suspect there's probably going to be a little bit of rejection there, but it's going to be a full-blown breakout. And coming the weekend, usually the weekends end up being difficult for crypto. Usually Mondays and Tuesdays end up being more aggressive for these guys. But hey, this is Johnny Crypto. I know I've been fairly patient, so just bear with me and I will show you guys how to trade and how to make some money as far as investing. Till next time, this is Johnny Crypto, here to help you make some money. Hey, Lee Ray.